Hello, everybody. On this Friday morning at 7:21 a.m. Here's your forecast update. Not looking too good, honestly. Looking at some of these newer models, a little bit concerning there. So let's get started out with that. And of course, we'll start with tonight's severe weather threat. Looking like we would have some wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. That is on up there in the confidence around little bit over medium confidence there. Hail up to 1 inch in diameter. That's about medium confidence. A tornado or two, which could be significant. EF2 plus. That's on the lower side of things. That is for tonight. Now, don't get it confused. That is for tonight's severe weather event. Northeast Alabama should be just a little bit more stable overnight, but that's going to quickly change as we get on into the day Saturday. But right now, let's focus on Friday, and then we'll get slowly into there. Looking like this is going to be active between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. Saturday morning. Of course, help people prepare for overnight severe weather event. This is not something you see very often here in the Tennessee Valley and our areas, especially. You don't see these kind of outlooks often. So, there's honestly one other time that I've seen that the models look close to what we're looking at now. Won't get too far into that, but just need to be prepared, weather aware, multiple ways to receive warnings. This is the system here that you need to be just be prepared. I mean, that's all I can say. Be extra prepared. Make sure that you've got everything in order. Don't wait until these storms get here. These storms are going to be moving very fast, and they are going to be capable of producing some large, long track tornadoes. It's just crazy what these models look like, but let's get on with it here. Don't want to ramble too much into it. Severe weather potential for tonight. Okay, this is breaking down the threats to not confuse anybody. This is broken down threats. This is tonight. Okay, so tornado threat around 5% our area. The best threat of tornadoes right now along I-65 and west. That's a hatched area. 15% risk or higher along and west of I-65. 5% risk here. Breaking it down as good as I can here. Looking like a severe wind outlook, 15% chance, we'll say all of northern Alabama. Hail threat, about 15%, all of North Alabama as well. And the hatching mark represents significant tornado EF2 plus, wind 75 miles per hour plus, and hail 2-inch diameter plus. Hatched risk is those dashed lines you see there when you're looking at the tornado perimeter there. You see those dashed lines out in the yellow. That is the area of concern for tonight. So keep that in mind. Now let's move forward to Friday night. Of course, that's tonight and Saturday morning. This is the timing. There's several systems coming in. Try not to confuse everybody. So this is the timing for that stuff we just talked about. Looks like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. Florence, Russellville areas. 2 a.m., 5 a.m. Huntsville and Coleman areas. 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Northeast Alabama. That's what that first round. So let's talk about some details here. What exactly are we looking at? Forecast details, what we're watching. Whether a cap, warm temperatures above the ground, sometimes called a cap, an inversion or a cap. We've talked about that before, will exist and how that could limit stronger storms from forming. There's still a little bit of uncertainty. As the newer models and high resolution models continue to come out today, we'll get a lot better idea. So today is going to be the day we have a lot better idea of what's going on. Low end scenario, which is expected overnight, the cap is strong and persists, preventing numerous supercell storms from forming. But still, a few could produce severe weather. So that's what we're expecting tonight. Now, the high end scenario, if this goes the other way, the cap would dissipate quickly, or there is no cap blocking that energy out, leading to a more favorable environment for numerous supercell storms to develop. These would likely be supercells capable of all hazards, including tornadoes, some which may be strong EF2 or greater, large hail and damaging wind gusts. So keep that in mind. Now let's take a look at the heavy rainfall flooding threat. Most likely scenario, we're going to see rainfall amounts 1.75 to 2.5, maybe less, depending on where you're at. Now, the high-end scenario is we may receive rainfall 3 to 4 inches of rain, which on the lower side. The lower side of things. We're not really expecting it to be that much rain, which would be good if we did get that much rain. That would mean that the system would be overperforming itself with rainfall, and more than likely that would limit the severe threat. But we're not really expecting that to happen. So let's look at this non-thunderstorm winds. It will be very windy outside of storms, but the good news is realistically we're expecting winds widespread 35 to 45 miles per hour gust. That's outside of storms realistically. Now there is a possibility if it goes a little bit crazier. There's a low chance of some 45 to 60 mile per hour gust. Outside of storms. So let's move on. Getting on into Saturday now. And yes, you do see the red. It has been extended a lot further north and northeast. We discussed this yesterday with our last update. We do expect wind gusts 70 miles per hour or greater. That is over in the high threat. Hail 1 inch in diameter. I'm going to say in the medium, kind of in between. And this is something you don't see a lot. Several tornadoes, some of which could be significant, EF2 plus. That's over closer to the high side, and that is something you don't see very often. That's pretty rare to see that kind of outlook. Round 2, medium to high confidence and supercell, strong tornadoes, EF2 plus, large hail, and wind gusts 70 plus miles per hour. Round 3, high confidence and a lot of storms, tornadoes, some strong EF2 plus, wind gusts 70 miles per hour. Wind for round 2, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Round 3, 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. midnight. We'll go over this a little bit more to make a little bit more sense out of it. So let's talk about Saturday, of course, evening and night severe threat. And this will be the final one that pushes through. Most likely scenario, again, for Florence and Russellville will be 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Around Huntsville, Coleman, 8 p.m. to 11, and Northeast Alabama, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. So let's take a look at our computer models. We will take a moment, and we will look over those. And I actually have not looked over these yet, so let's go ahead and get that started. And let's back everything up here. So just a big mess on the way, basically. I'll back those on up, and looks like they start getting into northwest Alabama. We get some showers or storms out ahead of it, but I've noticed there's not a lot out ahead of it. We do have some showers, some thunderstorms, but not a lot out ahead of it. Let me back it way on up here because I believe I'm missing some good details, and I was missing quite a few details there. So let's back it way on up. So it looks clear. I mean, today looks nice. Get out, prepare for this outbreak, because today, we don't really expect anything today. I won't rule out a pop-up shower or something, but mainly that's going to be around midnight and later when that severe threat comes through. So when does our first stuff get here? Well, it looks like our first stuff gets into our area around 8 a.m. in the morning. That's our first system right there pushing through. Some of those could be severe as well. All that pushes out and kind of lifts to the north. I believe that's going to be ahead of a warm front. It's going to lift north. Now, don't hold me on that. I haven't looked at the forecast graphs, which show the fronts and all that, but pretty sure by what I'm seeing, that's a warm front that lifts it to the north, and that's going to be what brings a lot of instability in here with it. Now, moving on into our secondary round, and it looks like it moves in overnight. So it looks like it gets into northwest Alabama around 7 p.m. looks like, and then pushes on to the east, gets around, we'll say I-65, and it kind of breaks up into these multi-cluster cells. They're a little bit spreaded out, so it becomes a little bit less of a line, which I am a little concerned with those discrete cells. Those discrete cells are going to be the ones we really have to watch to, be some big tornado makers. Will be the ones that are able to separate from the main line. And this gets into, looks like around I-65 around 10 o'clock, and then pushes on out of northeast Alabama, looks like around 3 a.m. Around 12 a.m. I apologize. Let's take a look here at some of our perimeters. And we're going to look at our significant tornado perimeter. Pull that up. Still looking pretty crazy out there, but I will tell you, the worst at the moment that I see, the models are still wanting to keep the worst of it down around Birmingham north into Marshall County. And as it pushes through our area, well, there's still some decent energy in place there for some tornadoes and some long track stuff as well. We'll look a little bit more at some of the other models here. Let me actually pull that up from a secondary site. So Give me just a moment and I'll pull that up. And I hope everybody is having a good morning. Didn't plan on this video update being this long, but sometimes you can't really help. You can't really help it. So let me pull this secondary info up here. But most definitely, if you live in a mobile home, you're probably going to want to try to stay with a friend that maybe has a house or something. That's my best recommendation for this event would be to do that. Make sure that you're pretty close by. You're not really far away from a storm shelter. See, I'm having a little bit of a problem finding this model outlook. I may just have to post it up later. Let's just do that because it's going to take too much time up. So let's just get ready to wrap it up here, and that way you guys have got this information because I don't want this to be out forever, crazily out of time. We've already spent 11 minutes on this update, so we will get that information posted up. But right now, let's say, of course, shout out to my sponsors. That is going to be Mr. Dylan Snyder at Alabama Living Real Estate. For all your real estate needs, you can give him a call at 256-979-4330. You can also check him out on Facebook as well. Our secondary sponsor is going to be RKG Automotive Group. You can give them a call looking to buy a vehicle. You can also check them out on Facebook as well at their website, or you can give them a call at 256-572-6586. And make sure, of course, you mention that you saw the ad on my live update here. So we got a lot more coming. Busy day ahead. God bless. Take care. Use this beautiful day that we got to prepare for a chaotic night and day tomorrow. God bless. Stay safe, everybody. See you on the next update.